I'm ready. Zach, you ready?
I'm ready.
Sky, Steele. Hold on, let's bop a little bit, man. I'm ready. Can we get a dance move from Zach?
Hey.
Can we get a move? Hey, Zach. Hey. Do-rag, Zach. Let's get it.
I don't know. That looked like 47.
Yeah.
That looked like 47's dance right there, Zach. I don't know, bro.
Zach. We gonna get you. We gonna get Zach to the cookout. We gotta get him to the cookout, Sky.
We gonna get Zach right, bro. We gonna get Zach right.
What's going on, fellas? Listen, so I don't think I've talked to more people today than I've talked to these guys more than I probably talked to them literally in a year today. It feels like Christmas in spring. And we were sitting on this panel during the draft. So I'll take us back and circle us back and how we got here. We're sitting on this panel during the draft, and Tyler Booker's name's called, and I'm like this. And
no, Foots. You were like this.
Oh my God, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass off.
That's what you was like, Foots.
I was. I can't fake it. I'm sorry, Chad. You know, I like the Cowboys. And so, and the thinking was, and me and Sky have had some high level conversation about this. The thinking was, as good as the Cowboys drafted, I felt like it would have been malpractice to go into this year with the receiver room that you had. Zach, Sky, we're here now, y'all. Like, we're here in a big way. Me and Zach started texting. Actually, I'm going to give y'all the full rundown. Me and Zach were texting about, 11 o'clock last night, Zach?
Yeah.
So I texted Zach, and then Zach put out this great cryptic tweet. He said, do not get hyped about George Pickens. Do not get hyped about George Pickens. Do not get hyped about George Pickens. And then at the very end, he said, I can't stop myself from getting hyped about George Pickens. And then, bro, George Pickens is a Dallas. Does that doesn't even feel right, Sky?
It definitely feels a little surreal, man. We were talking about this last night, where this move, if it were to be made, would be, to me, one of the best moves they've made in some years, or at least one of those moves where I haven't been this excited for. You know what I'm saying? For a long, long time, man. And Zach, you were talking about that in the back too. With, man, we wish they could do this more often, because just look how it feels in the community right now. And I mean Dallas Cowboys, not just content creators. The Dallas Cowboys community, everybody's feeling good, man.
Yeah, man. Like, Zach, how do you feel?
This isn't a move that the Cowboys typically make. Like, we don't get excited about the moves that they make, like Solomon Thomas and Kenneth Murray. Like, those are cool depth moves, but seeing them, trade a top 100 pick for a guy that's been as consistent as George Pickens, it feels like for the most part, the Cowboys community is in on this trade. And I really wish they would do it, because everybody's channel is going crazy. Everybody's talking about it, and the comments, dude, hundreds and hundreds of comments. It's awesome.
I'll be real with y'all. I didn't even watch. I watched like blurbs on Twitter from ESPN, but the community's so strong. I literally sat with Sky. I sat with Sky for 2 hours, bro. Yeah. I'm ducking off, watching Sky. Then once Zach dropped, I watched Zach. Zach had Zach, you had some great points, and I want you to get to that. Here's what it is for me. I think that the community at times, and we're just going to get right into it, you don't have to make football rocket science, guys. You don't. We don't have to make football rocket science. Rocket science is, going to get a lower tier guy and praying that it works. There was a need. The Cowboys needed a number 2 receiver. You could have prayed that Mingo could step into that role. You could have prayed that Jalen Tolbert, year 4, could possibly get better. But Jerry, for once, and we give Jerry hell, that front office for once addressed a need head on with the issues that Pickens that may have. And I'm going to really do more work on that, because you hear mixed reviews. You hear these things, right? But I have my own thoughts about Tom and the Steelers and how they've drafted quarterbacks, how they developed. But to me, bringing it back to a Cowboys stance, right? Now, when you pair Pickens with this draft, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, because number one thing we came out of the draft talking about was that they hit BPA, right? They got a lot of value early on in that draft, was able to, in my opinion, get some value with another weapon in the 5th round. And then look, once you get in that 5th round and beyond, you're just throwing darts anyway, and you hope that something can pop up. But they attacked some needs at the defensive tackle situation. But we also came out of that draft like they did not get one of their super blinking red light needs, which was receiver, which led us to believe that something has to be in the works. There's no way that reports come out and they say they want Ted McMillan. If he would have failed, they would have took him. And we heard about, hey, it's not over yet. We're still going to make some calls and do our due diligence. We knew something was down a pike. We just didn't know how high up they would go. And Zach, I talked about tiers on the other show that we do, Cowboys Collective. There are tiers, right? There are the Alec Pierces of the world, the Rashad Batemans of the world, the Christian Watsons of the world that maybe will be upgrades to what you have in the room. But then there's that dog tier. There's that Pickens tier. There's that Garrett Wilson tier. I was really curious if they would take that leap to do it, and they did, Zach.
Yeah, that was the big cloud hanging over the draft for me, and I know it was for Foots too, was that they didn't take the wide receiver. So when they said they were going to address that, usually what the Cowboys mean when they say address it is get one of those lower tier players. Yep. They don't typically go out and get that, that dog. So I was super surprised by it. And I think that makes it even more exciting. We saw so much talk about Amari Cooper, and, he, as good as he was the first time around, like he was going to make your room a little better, but it wasn't going to be much of a needle mover like Pickens is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, I just want to still, I don't even want to get to the offense just yet. I really want to talk about how we got here. So I'll say this, we got some info, right? Me and Sky, and I just got to be honest with you guys, man. Like Ricky, I'm going to give a underground reporter flowers. People can talk about all they want to still about, oh, they had the drop. There were Cowboys beat reporters who said this would not happen. There were. I mean, I'm not throwing any jabs. I'm being honest. This is the real timeline. And you guys know when it's these three on the screen, we'll be real. Me and Clarence have had our back and forth. Clarence, we can joke like that. He said this was not real. You woke up this morning and Bobby Belt dropped that tweet, Sky.
Hey.
Oh, it's real.
Hey, look, we might need Clarence to say something else ain't real because he 0 for 2. He batting like 125 this offseason. It ain't looking too good for our guy, Chill. I'm just saying.
Still, he's over. He's over. Hey, Zach, and so I think what it is too is like, bro, I think we heard so Todd Archer comes out with the report, y'all. The Cowboys were interested in an AFC North receiver during the draft. And that is so, you hit it, Zach. That's so Cowboys like, man, no, they probably just called and checked up. Man, they pulled the trigger, y'all. Come on. They pulled the trigger.
On a top 100 pick that might be gone next year, or you have to franchise tag for $25 million. Like, this is a win now move. Like, this offseason as a whole, after you add the Pickens trade, feels like the Cowboys version, at least, of all in.
That's a great point. That's a great point because they still did a lot of what they've done in previous years of, hey, a lot of one-year deals, a lot of kind of middle to lower level type guys that I don't think collectively move the needle, right? You needed to get a hump player or two, and maybe they're not done yet. You needed a hump player or two to throw that in the gumbo. And by getting George Pickens on top of the draft, and then with some of those one-year deals that a lot of those guys ain't going to be here long term, but a few of them usually hit, right? A few of them usually become role players. Usually, Dante Fowler's going to give you something, okay? I think Jack Sanborn might have a little something there. We'll see what's up with Kenneth Murray. We got Solomon Thomas for some depth purposes. Like, these guys might give you some role stuff, but when you throw that all together on top of George Pickens and hopefully maybe a defensive tackle or maybe a veteran corner or what have you, now we're talking about the Cowboys version of one single all-in season without really getting 3 hump players like you would maybe see another team do. I'll settle for 1.5. I'm not going to be greedy because I know how this front office is. I'll settle for that. So I think right now they're having a solid offseason for sure.
Yeah, and honestly, Sky is the most fair. He'll troll Jerry and stuff like that, but he's fair when it comes to. So I appreciate this conversation, guys. This isn't really like a show chat. This is just us. Just 3 minds coming together. We're live on each of our pages, and we're just chatting. So I have a few questions because I think I'll be honest, I want to dispel a few things, and I see a super on my end, so I'll get to that super real quick. Write this down. Williams is only 25, coming off a full healthy offseason. Okay, so Javonte Williams, and we got all offseason to talk about running back. So I appreciate that $10 super, but I really want to focus on just how George Pickens, Georgia, second-round pick, how he's going to be used and who he was in Pittsburgh, because I think there's a few misnomers that I want to talk about, and Sky did a great job. Really, I saw it on Twitter. He debunked a few things that are going around, and it's not real and it's not true. First of all, the thought that Pickens was such a bad player that, Pittsburgh just had to get rid of him. It's not the case at all. If you listen to Pittsburgh people, they have no direction right now offensively. They don't. And it's almost mixed in that building, guys, because you brought in DK and you paid him immediately. This is a player you didn't draft. This is a player who, if you're being honest, could be looked at as the same air quote issues as George Pickens. The difference is George Pickens had to endure what quarterbacks? Kenny Pickett, Mason Rudolph, 39-year-old or 38-year-old Russell Wilson. Those are the quarterbacks that he had to go out there and produce with. With Sky as the offensive coordinator, he knows OCs. Who were the OCs for Sky? Help me. Who were the OCs for Pittsburgh? I know they weren't good.
No, Arthur Smith last year, and we were talking about this on the phone. I should have got his name. Matt Kennedy. Matt Kennedy.
Canada was the worst OC in the NFL.
Yeah, he got fired middle of the season, and Pittsburgh fans were clamoring to get him up out of here for like the last number of years. So bad offensive coordinators, or very least bad pass game coordinators, because Arthur Smith has a fantastic run scheme, bad pass game. And then bad quarterbacks too. And he still put up some really damn good numbers with, when you really when you take a step back and look at everything, the big picture, he was productive. It wasn't about him being a bad player on the field. It's maturity issues. If we're talking about that, Foots, if we're going to go down that route, Zach and Foots, he's not, as my guy, Professor Rose said, gun under the seat guy. That's not him. It's not him at all. He is a guy that wants to win so bad that he has an attitude problem. Right. And a maturity problem. He has a maturity problem. Now, can he come in here and can these leaders in this room, this coaching staff, help him out? I know one thing that's going to help him out. I know one thing. He's going to be excited about playing with a Pro Bowl franchise quarterback. He's going to be excited about playing with one of his good buddies in a CD Lamb. CD Lamb, the big homie now. CD Lamb had the big homie in the locker room with Brandon Cooks, with Amari Cooper. Now he's the big homie with a dude next to him. He ain't the big homie trying to big up James Washington and big up Noah Brown. He's going to try to big up a 1B, by the way. A lot of, we got a wide receiver 2. Now we got a wide receiver 1B.
He's
proven that. He's proven that over in Pittsburgh, playing with Mason Rudolph and them boys, right? Kenny Pickett, Justin Fields, the corpse of Russell Wilson. He about to play with Dak and CeeDee Lamb, ladies and gentlemen. Like, that should get you fired up immediately.
Hey, Zach, let me ask you this. Watching this film, so when I called Zach today, he was already halfway through the season, Sky, with his targets. What's one thing that you want to dispel that I think people don't really know about Pickens in his game?
Probably the separation thing. That's like a thing going around, that he doesn't separate, doesn't create enough separation. That not every receiver in the NFL, although it's going towards that in today's game, like the speedy guys that can get up, like Tyreek Hill kind of put that out there in the past half decade. Like, you got to be fast. If you can make plays downfield and run a 4.2, like, that's awesome. But that Pickens can create separation. But that's not how he wins. Like, he wins above the rim. His catch radius is absurd. You can go on NFL Pro and like watch all 50-something, 60-something targets that he had. Like, this dude is open all the time. We said it with Dez Bryant. Dez Bryant was so much fun to watch because of what he could do above the rim. And Pickens plays with a ton of strength. Like, he's a long, lanky guy for the most part. Yes, but he is strong, fights through contact. I mean, he'll be getting dragged down, still make the catch. It's easily a pass interference. He could just, give up. No, he's going to go get the ball every single time.
And you know more about the separation thing because the numbers, I'll get to them in a second. But you said something there. He actually does separate. He separates late. And what I mean by late is when there's no, I shouldn't say separate late. Let me not, because that sounds bad. If he's covered, he's really not. If you go really watch his targets, specifically deep targets, intermediate targets, because of that catch radius, yeah, there might be a guy by him, but they're not covering him because he has that catch radius. Yeah, there might be a guy that might be side step to step with him, but guess what? He will flash those hands late. He might get he got a veteran push off to his game too, and he will create that late separation is what I mean. And with this offense, I've said this many times, I said this to you guys, I think this offense will scheme some of these receivers open anyway. I think you'll get more of that as opposed to what you got under McCarthy. But let me ask you this: if the separation statistic that I've seen going around is an
so
issue,
silly.
Well, if it's an issue, let me ask you this: would you not want to have AJ Brown? His separation per next gen stats 2.1. Would you not want to have Scary Terry per next gen stats 2.7? What about T Higgins? 2.4. Marvin Harrison Jr. Throw him out the window, right? A 2. What about Alex Pierce? People were bringing him up 2.4. Tank Dell, I like Tank Dell 2.7. George Pickens a 2.3. So he's right in that same range of all of a couple number ones, a couple 1Bs, a couple high end 2s, right? Would you not want those guys because of that separation statistic? Screw that. Go watch the film. This dude is a dog, okay? He's automatically going to come in here, and I love CeeDee Lamb. He's your best jump ball guy, okay?
Yeah.
He's probably your best red zone weapon, okay? Oh, by the way, he's not the number one, so teams can't game plan for him to take him out by himself. He is going to be partnered, I should say, with the CeeDee Lamb. So now I'm getting more one-on-ones, or maybe I'm getting light zone over there, and he's going to be able to eat that. I saw him get separation on one of the best, if not the best cornerback in the National Football League if you go watch the Denver Broncos game. And you saw Patrick Surtain go, damn, man, he got me. So we're talking about, man, this dude's talent is immense. This is one of the most talented receivers. It should be nothing about his talent on the field. He makes you so much better across the board. It's about the maturity. That's if you want to talk to me about maturity, I'm all ears. You want to talk about the talent and what he brings on the field, there's not really much you can say from a negative impact.
Bro, Sky, I want to cry football tears, man. I'm serious because people have made this about being right, and it's not. I just want the team to be good. And I think the Cowboys made a point to make this team good. He's a ball winner. I don't want to because Sky just killed that soapbox, but I got to he's a ball winner. We've become in love with looking at stats. Look, we go to PFF. Is he green here? Is he red? Oh, here. No, go watch the game. Go watch the game. He has run after the catch. I was watching the Commanders game last year, and I'm watching people. If you watch ball, see, I can tell who doesn't actually watch the NFL, and it's real. I'm watching Russell Wilson throw. All he does is throw air balls. He won't throw the middle of the field. That's another thing that's like a major issue with Wilson's game versus Dak. Kills the middle of the field. So we're going to get to the offense and what it'll look like, we think, early on, Sky and Zach. I want to talk about that. But my thing is, if you watch how he was just able to run right past, he ran right past both their corners, Igbenogany, and what's the young kid, Sanders still, and then jump ball, end zone. And then Russell missed him on a few plays. We have to really look at how he wins. He's the perfect offset for CeeDee Lamb. Go ahead, Zach.
I was going to mention, too, the separation numbers don't look great. Or if you watch the TV copy alone, he's not going to look like he's open because the quarterback play was so bad. Like the catch that he had in the corner against the Commanders on Sanders still, he has a good half a step to a full step on him. But because Russell Wilson's throw is so it's underthrown and the opposite shoulder, he looks like the corner's all over him. When if he would have just put it in the breadbasket, he's right in the corner of the end zone.
There's another play against the
Jets.
What's up, Vach? Reed, we got a Vach Reed. Shouts out to our brother Vach. There's another play against the Jets. Reed, who's a fantastic number 2 cornerback in the league. He gets by. He has the steps on I forget his first name, but Reed, and I don't know what that throw was. I guess he didn't want to overthrow Pickens or whatever, and Pickens had to readjust. By the way, one of the best at readjusting to bad balls right? I mean, he can catch. I mean, it's ridiculous. So he had to readjust. It was underthrown. It bobbles up, and he still catches it. He's beaten one of the better corners. I've seen him beat those corners. So I don't think we should really harp on that aspect of it. I think his talent and what he provides on the field, especially, again, I'm going to keep harping on this, next to CeeDee Lamb, just far, 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 far outweighs that. The biggest concern is when things don't go his way, right? If there is a struggle offensively, how will he react on this team? Because we saw how he reacted in Pittsburgh.
All right, so I got a few questions offensively, and I'll let y'all go.
I'm good. So
it ain't, bro. I haven't been this excited for a weapon since Amari Cooper, and I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I'm not gonna lie to y'all because of the age and because I think there's still room for him to get better. I may be a little bit more excited than Cooper, and the reason is because he's 24. People are like, 1 year deal with, bro. If he gets over 1K, Jerry's not letting him lead a building. I don't see that, bro. If he has a 1,100-yard year and everything goes smooth, let's say you make a deep playoff run, George Pickens isn't leaving the building. Him and CeeDee Lamb will grow together. What you like?
He don't even got to do 11, bro. He don't even got to do 11, bro. He don't.
What he got to do still?
AJ Brown got traded for now again, we're talking about different characters, but AJ Brown got traded for a first-round pick after an 800-yard season. Like,
true.
It's not going to be
you in your bag, bro.
It's not going to be about the statistics. He's going to get his, right? So he's going to get his. He going to float around that 8 to 1,000, 6 to 10 tutties. I think it's going to be about the maturity. I don't think they make this trade with the thought. And I've seen this. Shouts out to some of my people. Like when I say people, I mean a lot of people don't respect Marcus, but he puts in work. Marcus Mosher, he's the one throwing wet, the wet blanket on this whole thing. But it's
a few in the community.
It's a few. But he was like, hey man, this is definitely a 1 year rental. I'm like, ain't no way. Ain't no way they trading a 3rd round pick. And they just like, yep, we renting him in a season where, let's be real, we like the steps that they're taking, but I don't think anybody is looking at the Cowboys as, man, they're one move away from the Super Bowl. Like, Pickens isn't the one move away. They might be one move away from being a really competitive playoff team, meaning fighting for the playoff spot, possibly winning a game or two, hopefully. But Super Bowl, like, I don't think Pickens is that one sole move. So when I hear him say, "Hey man, this is definitely a rental," I don't think it's definitely a rental. I think it's, let's get him in here. Let's see how he acclimates to our new locker room culture. Let's see how his maturity goes. And if they like what they see in these next 12 months, he will get extended or at the very least franchise tag. If not, bro, you gave up a 3rd round pick. We're not talking about a first. We're not talking about multiple firsts. We're talking about a 3rd round pick.
And I won't say this puts you in a Super Bowl, but it does put you in a conversation. What that conversation is, I think the conversation is that I won't even say all in, but if they go get a DT Sky, I don't even know if I need a running back per se. I would like a name, but I think what this does is say, let's get to the scheme for me. Let's get to the offense. And I want Zach and you guys to jump in. This is what I see. I see versus, I put up a graphic versus man coverage. His numbers are literally through the roof. And I tweeted this out, and I actually want to talk about it. Versus man coverage, his numbers outside of Justin Jefferson and Jameson Williams, he's crazy. He's a demon versus man coverage. Me and Matt, shout out to Professor Georgia fan. He knows Pickens. He's loved Pickens. He's been all over this.
Pickens since 22, bro.
Shout out to Matt. I got to give you that love, Matt. And shout out to everybody in the community, but really Matt, because me and Matt were, we were talking about it, and everybody's like, no, it's not going to happen. And me, Sky, Matt, and like when I was texting Zach, I'm like, bro, this thing has real legs. But anyway, man coverage, Sky, demon. Here's what I see. I'm not going to say it's going to be so easy for Schottenheimer because I don't think that. What I think is the looks that will be presented, it'll literally be when you had a Michael Gallup, but better. Meaning, if you're getting one-on-one coverage, Pickens is going to beat one-on-one coverage. That's what he's done his whole career. He's going to beat one-on-one coverage. Now, if you have any type of imagination as an offensive coordinator, this thing should roll now, Sky, because outside of, I'm serious about this, and I don't care if it's a hot take, clip it or whatever you say, literally outside of Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, I don't even know. I personally don't know if Devontae Smith and AJ Brown are a better duo. Now, they know Jalen, but here's the thing. I always had CeeDee Lamb over AJ Brown. I just think he does more after the catch. I think he's a better route runner. He developed to a better route runner. If you wanted to argue anything, it would probably be Smitty versus Pickens, Sky, but it's debatable. It's debatable to me. And the reason why Hurts is able to be that guy on offense.
Let's not
stop me, Sky.
Yeah, let's not get distracted, Foots. That shit don't matter. Foots, that shit don't matter. I'm past that. And I said this a couple years. I'm past. Oh, where does Dak rank? Where does CD rank? I'm past. We the number one offense. I'm past it, bro. Does he help your offense? And does he not just help your offense? Does he take it to another level? Right? Because a guy like Jaden Blue helps your offense, but a guy like George Pickens takes it to another level. And when you're talking about on the field, right? You talked about one-on-one man coverage. And a lot of times Pittsburgh, if he got that one-on-one and they would send him deep, he crushed it. He was number one in the league last year in deep balls, in first in catches, first in yards. And if you're in the grades on PFF, he was first in PFF grades. Shouts out to Warren Sharp, who had an amazing stat that was dropped. For those who don't believe that, oh man, I don't know. I think Kyle Brandt was trying to say, George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb's the same dude. First of all, who gives a if he is? He's so supposed to be mad because we got two CeeDee Lambs, but whatever. That's not the case. They're not two CeeDee Lambs. But shouts out to this stat from Warren Sharp. Dak Prescott the last 2 years, number one most pass yards on 15-plus yard go routes. Number two in attempts on 15-plus yard go routes. Guess who's number one and number two in the same categories? George Pickens. Dak That's also number three best accuracy out of 40 quarterbacks. This is an exact Dak Prescott fit right here. And if you forget, if you want to remind yourself, you brought it up. Michael Gallup, ladies and gentlemen, before his injury and he was at his peak, Zach, he was eating with Dak Prescott. He's not a separator.
That's true.
The league is telling you how important it is and what it does for your offense to have two wide receivers. I mean, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, you can go on and on and on. I mean, look at what the Bucs did. They had Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and then Jalen McMillan, and then still drafted a receiver in the first round. That, having a guy opposite of Lamb, where Lamb isn't the sole focal point for a defense week in and week out, does so much for your offense. It helps the run game, helps spread everything out a little bit. And then when it's time to win in crunch time, and I think that was a problem with the Cowboys in past years. Nobody's winning in crunch time.
Last year,
talk about it, Zach.
Come on.
So, I mean, the league is
keep going, Zach. Keep going, Zach. Keep going.
Yeah, the league is telling you how important it is to have those guys and to not put all of the pressure on CD.
Stay right there, Zach. God dang it. I haven't seen anybody bring that up all day today.
The pressure, yeah.
You know what? When you said that, the crunch time aspect of it, when you said that, you know what immediately popped in my head? I don't know if y'all watched the last possession of the San Francisco game last year. Cowboys fight all the way back. They got a chance now. They got a chance to go down there. I think it was a tied up or take. I don't know what it was. And that last possession was pathetic, first of all, from a play calling standpoint. Second of all, we went through on my show and looked at everybody opposite of CeeDee Lamb. Who was getting open? Not a single soul. Guess who was out there, Zach, in that crunch time? Jalen Brooks. Jalen Brooks, wide receiver 7 right now.
Can you give me a drop for that?
He's wide receiver 7.
Give me a drop. Give me a drop, Sky. No, bro. No.
Now in crunch time, you want to take away CeeDee Lamb. You want to one-on-one with George Pickens, fam. A couple years ago in Philly on 4th and 8, we had to go to Jalen Tolbert. All right, man. Excellent point, Zach.
Offensively, man, I think Sky hit it, man. I think that Schottenheimer and just more modernization, people who have clamored for other receivers, I'm not going to even give it much life. Maybe you wanted that in Mike McCarthy's scheme. quick game, 1,000 slants, 1,000 turnarounds. Bro, you run this big tree on overs off of play action. You run this big joker on corner routes and deep third attackers because you're getting one or you're getting two safeties. You're getting middle of the field open, you're getting middle of the field close. You can't run a lot of zone because CD's going to eat in zone. Like, that's what he's going to do. It's unfair. So if you try to sit in those zones, CD's going to tear zones up. There's not a slot receiver a slot corner who could run with CD all game in the middle of the field. It's like chasing a rabbit. So you're getting cover three, middle of the field closed, or you're getting middle of the field open. Bro, off those play action shots, running Pickens down the field one-on-one, people don't understand how well he tracks the football, guys. We haven't talked about his tracking. When's the last time we saw a receiver outside of Sedarian Lamb track a football? Like, it was a bad ball because by the way, he's getting balls thrown at him from Kenny Pickett. So they're all bad footballs and he's tracking the ball. We haven't seen that. That's what he brings to this offense. That's where he's going to win. And I just think that it honestly, if you just take away the off the field, and I'm not worried about the off the field. In closing for me, I think this made your offseason. I'll just say the draft. I won't even say the offseason, right? Because let's be real, they went Dollar Tree on a lot of things.
Yeah.
This made the offseason Sky A+ draft. This makes your draft an A+. I thought I was watching something today and was like, if you add Kenny Pickens to this draft, if you add George Pickens to this draft class, it's a true.
I mean, you don't even got to add it to the draft class. Add it to the offseason moves, right? Like say they did this in March. Then the draft, it looks like, okay, that's how it was going to go, right? That's how it's supposed to go. You're not going to take Ted McMillan at 8 anymore. If the thought process, or not 8, but 12 anymore, if the thought process is Kenny Pickens is going to be here for the long haul. But before, you let me know, you tap me on the shoulder, whether it be in the private chat or just let me know straight up if you got to get a hard out here. I wanted to ask y'all not just about Pickens, like we're going to continue to talk about Pickens, but something had popped up in my show this morning about beyond Pickens and CD Lamb. Now, when you have a competition for wide receiver 3 that features Jalen Tolbert, Jonathan Mingo, that's a little more enticing than a wide receiver 2 conversation about Jalen Tolbert and Jonathan Mingo. And that gets me a little bit more excited because the way I think this offense is going to be, now I think there is something to it with Mingo. If he's going to be more in condensed splits, more on a move, probably going to play a lot more, we call it power slot, big slot, than he would have to play as a true X wide receiver on the outside. Zach, Foots, y'all let me know. I'm fired up for the wide receiver 3 competition now because I know we straight on the outside, and I know I was joking the other day about Mingo, but I think he's got a legitimate shot if they utilize him how they used him in Ole Miss, which I don't think they could really do that if he was wide receiver 2.
Yeah, 100%. Because I think all of the wide receivers have their own lane on this team. Like Lamb does a lot of the things that he does well. Then you have Mingo and you have Pickens. Without Pickens on the team, you're going to force Mingo to be that outside X receiver that just cannot win. And that's what Carolina tried to get him to do. But having 2 guys to take the pressure off, let him compete with Jalen Tolbert, I think it's best for everybody. And I wanted to bring something up real quick before I forgot, but the timing of this trade is the best that I've seen from the Cowboys in terms of not waiting to get in trouble.
Yeah.
Like how many times have you seen this team get
Zach.
Camp
Claps in the chat for that.
For week 8, and then they need a wide receiver or a defensive tackle. Like, at least they did it now.
Yeah.
You can get Pickens in the building, get him out there on the practice field, OTAs, training camp. Then we're ready to go week 1, and you're not just sitting around twiddling your thumbs until you need him in week 6 or 7.
Excellent point, because we've seen them do this how many times where they'll, hey, man, we're going to go into camp. I think even McClain and the boys even said it. Jerry Jones and the boys even said, hey, we're going to see what we got. We're going to see what we got. Next thing you know, end of July, August, here comes Malik Hooker. Here comes Jordan Phillips. Here comes, who was the other one? Everson Griffin. Here comes James Washington was a little earlier than that, but you know what I mean?
Oh, my God, James Washington.
Here comes Trey Lance.
God.
Trey Lance is
James
another
Washington.
late round addition, or late in the offseason addition. They're getting him in here now to get acclimated with CD and Dak in the locker room and the new culture and things like that. So I'm with you. Spot on. Great analysis right there. Get them in the building. And that way we're not getting to the beginning of the year and we're having this, Dak and Pickens are on the same page. No excuses.
I'm going to say this and then I'm a boogie, guys.
Okay.
I wanted to answer your question, Sky, because that's an excellent point. Capital E. Shout out to everybody in the chat. We love you. Guys, you feel great.
We don't love everybody, but appreciate y'all. We love most of y'all.
This has been a great day, bro. I'm on a high. I'm really on a high, guys. Like, I want to give y'all analysts, but I'm just on analysis, excuse me, but I'm just on a high. I'll say this, guys. You feel actually really good about these two battling. You feel good. Go ahead, Mingo. Go beat a team's third corner. Go beat whoever from the Giants. Go run around, beat him. You know what I mean? Break a few tackles. Beat a guy. Oh, look at Mingo. Because the expectation, there is none. There is no, we're not counting on you. You know who you're counting on? You're counting on 88, who's had a 1,700-yard season, and you're counting on George freaking Pickens, who's had 1,000 yards with Kenny Pickett, excuse me, and he's 24 years. Those are the two players that you're counting on. You're counting on Jake Ferguson. You're counting on 4. Counting on Jalen Tolbert, Sky, malpractice. Bad Cowboys. Bad Brian Schottenheimer. Counting on George Pickens with all his issues, I still feel like he's a dependable football player. He's just irritated. Like, and that's okay. We do these things to where it's like one size fits all. They need to be choir boys. Man, it's football. Like, I don't want guys. Let me tell you something. That choir boy crap goes out the window when you stink. When you're not good. I'm pretty sure Jalen Tolbert's a choir boy. I'm pretty sure you take him home, do the right things. He doesn't wear a mask, all that, whatever. Dog, can he play football? Does he scare people? No, he doesn't. I tell you what, defensive coordinators now, you can let anybody in the space tell you whatever they want about George Pickens. Every defensive coordinator in the NFC East is thinking, how am I going to stop CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens? Yeah. The same defensive coordinators who had to stop Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, I'm telling you what I know. Not what I heard, what I know. Because you don't have enough juice on the back end to do it. So, man, seriously, guys. Seriously.
Nah, you and you're right to be excited about this, man. You and you're right. They got some more work to do, and we'll talk about, all of that throughout the next couple of weeks and months. We got a long off season until we get to the training camp, which you might, see a couple of us out there. But this is definitely certainly a day to have fun with this, feel good, be excited. And it's not forced. I don't think you should have to force yourself to be excited about this. I think this is a legitimate, really damn good move that I hate to even use the term low risk, high reward. I don't think there's any risk to it. Had you traded a first or second round pick, had you immediately given him some $100 million contract, yeah, man, that's a bit of a risk. There is really no risk to this, in my opinion. This is all reward. And if it doesn't work out, you give up probably a middling third round pick, guys. Come on.
But then if he gets paid somewhere else, depending on what the contract is, you at least get a compensatory back, and then you're maybe losing a 4th round in value. Like, there really isn't any risk involved.
No.
Guys, I'm going on record with the way Shotty's building this thing up and with his leadership. George Pickens will be here.
Oh, okay.
He'll be here. You don't make this move as a rental. You rent a guy that's 28, 29, like they did like Houston just did with Diggs or whatever like that. This guy has too much talent. I'm telling you, I watch ball. George Pickens is really good. He does some really nice things. So, hey, man, me and Sky will be on the Cowboys Collective tomorrow. Me and Zach will be doing content throughout, and we'll probably do a few more of these with Sky, because as y'all can see, he's back. So if you guys are on my channel, make sure you guys follow Zach. If you guys follow me, if you're watching this from Zach's channel, and then if you guys are on Sky's channel, please follow me. I'm honored to share this screen with you guys, man. I really am. And I thank y'all, man, like seriously.
Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you, Zach. We definitely got to do this more often. The draft was just a little teaser. Today was another quick teaser, but we're going to be here. We active. I'm back officially, so we active.
Amen.